Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I have here an official letterhead from Ducati. Trying to cover my address, but it says Ducati right there. This is an official letter from Ducati. This is a notice of an official recall for my Ducati V4. Pretty much every single bike in my garage is giving me some sort of issue pretty much at this point. Right when I thought that this bike was gonna be the only bike in my garage that wasn't gonna fail me, of course, my luck, I just had to tempt fate in the last video. And this one now has an official safety recall out for it. I'll spare you guys the insane details, but basically the rear brake is prone to explode, which as you can imagine is a major safety issue. So I don't think I'm gonna be doing much riding of the V4 for the time being until we get this taken care of. Now, this is what today's video is going to be about. As you guys remember, I was trying to get this bike to shoot flames a couple of weeks ago. Weeks ago, I kind of forget the timeline, things go quick. However, I had one small, little, tiny problem that was preventing this from happening. Pesky little thing called a catalytic converter. You know that thing that pretty much all cars and motorcycles come with these days because of these nasty things called emissions? Yeah, that was preventing this thing from shooting 5-foot flames into space. So I'm actually making this video a little bit in the future because I became horribly uncertain if I was gonna be even able to do this project. I tried drilling the cat out by myself using really crappy drills that I owned, and it didn't go that well. So I enlisted the help of my blue collar friend, my homeboy Tico, and he helped me drill the rest of this catalytic converter out. Roll the clip. And look who shows up just on time.
Where's your shirt?
Where's my shirt, bro? This is what I do. It's my household.
Garage, man.
I'm allowed to not wear a shirt in my own garage, brother.
That is true, that is true.
It gets freaky in here, bro, let me tell you. All these expensive bikes, I love making sweet, sweet love to them.
Oh yeah, all the time, bro. You got to.
You got it, brother. We are making some solid, decent progress. There's still quite a bit left. We, right? This is us doing this.
Yeah,
So the drill bit started coloring because of how hot it got.
And Tico managed to snap off the drill bit. So, well, there's that. Things are not going as expected. Wait, how far in there? Oh God, bro is now fishing out the lost drill bits. This is terrible. That is a new one. I don't think I've seen that before.
And we come out with, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that.
Oh baby, we got money.
We went fishing, boys.
Oh, right through it? Easy.
Water! Like, dude, we're actually so locked in.
Triumph exhaust test numero uno.
It's got a gas light. I don't want to pay for that galley gas.
Did you guys enjoy that? Wasn't that sick? Yeah, so basically we got the majority of the catalytic converter. I know I kind of snaked you on that one. The majority of the catalytic converter is now out of this bike. That's kind of like, we're getting places, I hope. It has been a disaster trying to get this catalytic converter out. I don't know what Triumph makes their catalytic converters out. Usually you kind of get in there and they just like fall apart. This one did not. So the goal is today, I want to take this bike to an undisclosed location because now I legally can't ride this bike on the road. I kind of forgot to mention that fact. This bike is federally illegal now. I looked up the classic, is it illegal to remove a catalytic converter? And yeah, the answer is yes, it's highly illegal. Not only under state law, but also federal law. Like the law of the land, like Trump is going to indict me for doing this if I rode this bike on the street. Not really, not really. Typically, this is pretty hard to enforce. And it's generally, in my state of Ohio, it's not enforced. However, for the sake of this video and also educational purposes, I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you don't do this, okay? Don't do this to your road bikes. However, there's a small exception that we're going to be working with today. It is fully legal to do this to non-road vehicles. If the vehicle is intended for racing purposes or off-road vehicles, it is completely legal to do this for whatever reason. That makes it better. Maybe because the thought process is it's like it's for off-road vehicles, and so they think that if you are just driving out in the middle of the forest that air doesn't count. I don't really understand the thought process. But basically, if it's an off-road vehicle, this is completely fine and legal to do. However, I still don't recommend that you do it, kids. So I am gonna be unfortunately breaking a little bit of a rule that I have on my YouTube page, which is I always like to have at least some segment of my video riding a motorcycle. But I can't do that with this one today because I did an illegal modification to this bike. Like I legally cannot ride this on the road. And I think by doing so in my YouTube video, I'd also flag myself and get this video taken down. So I can't have that. It's against YouTube guidelines to do something illegal in your videos. But since this is an off-road vehicle, it's legal. So the tentative plan is I'm going to have to load this bike up in my truck and take it somewhere to an undisclosed parking lot that I have permission to do this in. Private property. I can take this bike to private property. I also have to wait a little bit because in order to see the flames that this bike could potentially shoot, I have to wait until evening, until the sun goes down, which you guys can tell the sun is very much out right now. So we just kind of have a little bit of a waiting game. So I guess there's not much else to do other than to wait. So I'm gonna go out and enjoy some time with my friends.
Boys, it is that time of day. I've been waiting all day for this. Da da da. It is just the KTM. I'm being a good boy. I'm not riding this on the street today. We're gonna be good little children and load this sucker up in my truck. I'm only wearing the helmet because, audio purposes, you guys need to be able to hear me. And I also want to bring a pair of gloves with me just so I can get extra traction when I'm loading the bike up into my truck. No other reason. Oh my goodness, boys. The illegal triumph. You guys have no idea how much pain and suffering went into this. I have to contain my excitement a little bit. I always get so nervous. This was a project bike, okay? I don't have many project bikes on this page, or at least ones that I've successfully worked on and finished myself. Kind of by myself. I also had Tico's help, but still. Just getting that extra traction so we can load it up on the truck. You guys see that? Before I load this thing up in my truck, I'm just going to go ahead and cold start it because my neighbors are gonna hate me. This thing when I started it the other day was a lot louder. Yeah. So after I load this up in the truck, I will see you guys in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the undisclosed location, boys. I want to cut right to the chase on this thing because I am just as excited to see if this thing shoots flames just as much as you guys. So minor issue that I'm slightly worried about that might prevent this bike from shooting flames now rather than later. Main thing I'm worried about is that catalytic converter. We did not drill it the entire way through. There is still little bits and pieces of catalytic converter in there, but if you guys don't know how catalytic converter works, basically it's like a giant honeycomb thing that prevents like really bad gases from reaching the very end of the exhaust. The main culprit, the main thing that causes the flames, is excess gasoline that was not burned off in the motor. So the idea is by removing the catalytic converter, we should be able to access that unburned gasoline that causes the big fiery flame. This catalytic converter in particular, I don't know what Triumph builds their catalytic converters out of, but it was like literally pure titanium. We burnt through one of the drill bits, as you guys saw, which never has happened to me in my history of drilling out catalytic converters. Whatever Triumph builds their catalytic converters out of is very anti-enthusiast or flamethrower enthusiast. So just to provide you guys with the stakes that are on the line here, this took me about 2 weeks. We burnt through 2 drills in order to do this, a $30 drill bit and a $30 drill bit extender. I have put almost as much money into drilling out this exhaust system as I could have just spent buying a header set. I am not the smartest person in the world, but also don't do this at home. I feel like I've said that enough in this video for that point to be clear. Between the really harmful metals that you could potentially expose yourself to if you don't do it correctly, and also the fact that it is federally illegal to do this to street bikes. Again, this is my track bike, all to shoot a little bit of flames because it looks cool. The moment of truth, boys. Here we go. Starting the bike in 3, 2, 1. Now I gotta let it warm up for a second, so while I do that, I also want to explain. You know, we gotta let the exhaust get the proper temperature so that way if the gasoline does escape, it does ignite on the exhaust. Imagine the entire thing burns down. I just realized that is a possibility. Imagine the whole bike just explodes. Okay. So, basically, before any of you guys complain, this bike is already tuned to run with no catalytic converter. I have been running this bike the entire time on the street with a catalytic converter, but I got this bike tuned a couple of months ago in Florida to run with no catalytic converter. So this entire time it's been running suffocated, because all I did in this video was just make this bike run the way that it wants to run according to the ECU tune. And without further ado, boys, let's see if this thing will spit some flames. Okay, that was progress. I don't think she's spitting flames. Alright. It's not doing it. That is really unfortunate. This is not the outcome that I wanted. Well, the entire idea of doing this project was I wanted this bike to shoot some flames. As you guys just saw, it did not do that, which there is potentially two culprits. One, I'm concerned with letting this bike warm up too long in this parking lot. If I let this bike fully warm up to temperature, there's a possibility the exhaust just is not hot enough. That could possibly be the biggest culprit, but I'm a little bit concerned about letting this bike get fully over temperature because the H2 just blew up because of bad coolant. I'm pretty sure this bike might be running the stock coolant that it came with back in 2020, meaning that this is probably running 6-year-old coolant. And if the H2 just blew up, I know that this one is coming. Culprit number 2 could possibly be the catalytic converter since it is enough existing in there, like there's still bits and pieces of it in there. Like I said, most of it has been knocked out. I didn't think it would be enough of an issue of blocking this bike from shooting flames, but is potentially at this point becoming the main culprit that I can think of. Between those two culprits, it is also entirely possible that this bike is just not capable of shooting flames, which might be possible. I am seeing little bits of debris shooting out of this bike. If you guys look back in the recording, it looks to me like there's little bits and pieces of debris that could just be catalytic converter dust, or it could be gasoline, or like things that are inside of the engine that are exiting that are not flammable enough to produce a flame. Point being, we did not succeed in the mission today. That does bum me out a little bit. But the upside is this bike is operational again. You know, I'm kind of having an issue right now where a bunch of my bikes are breaking right now, but at least this one, for the most part, is now operational. What if I wonder if I could just lie and say that I put the catalytic converter back on, like, off camera. Would that, like, indict me? I gotta be honest, like, they don't test for catalytic converters in Ohio. Like, just being straightforward and honest with you. Like, even though it is technically illegal in this state, like, there's no way for them to test for it. And if there's no way to test for it, it's not really illegal. I mean, it is illegal, which is why I can't say that in my video, but you know what I'm saying. I don't endorse this behavior, by the way. It's really stupid, but I wanted to shoot flames, dude. I'm really disappointed. Like, you see bikes like the R1, and like there are bikes out there that just shoot flames like crazy. I've never had a bike that did that because my old R1 didn't do that. My R1 was tuned perfectly, and so that's another symptom that could be, by the way. If this bike is tuned perfectly, it just won't shoot flames. Like, it has to be running a little bit rich or lean or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on this, but I think because this bike is tuned to run without a catalytic converter, it's already like perfect tune. It has the race filter, has catless exhaust. That is probably the culprit. That's probably the culprit. That's so bummer, dude. I don't know. Like, it's definitely something I could revisit. I do plan on taking this bike to the track, by the way. First track day's in May, so this will probably be the one I take. I just got to redo the coolant on it. I can't ride the bike in the video. That's just so frustrating, bro. I have to sit here in this parking. My truck is behind the building, obviously, but I have to sit here in this. I can't go for a ride and talk to you guys like I normally can. I did want to talk about one little thing. Earlier I meant to actually talk about, but kind of forgot. I had 2 friends crash recently. My one good friend Kyle, who's been in videos before, if you guys remember, he's like the manager of the Ducati dealership I usually go to. He had a really violent crash on one of the highways here where his bike literally exploded. I'm gonna sit down for this one. He's alive, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean it to sound like it's like really horrifying, but it's like, it is horrifying because he crashed, and that's scary. This is somebody I know. He wasn't speeding. He was there was a car that cut him off and then hit their brakes because of traffic, and he didn't see it, and unfortunately had an accident, which is why they called them accidents. Broken collarbone, broken rib, broken shoulder blade. He's gonna be in the hospital for a while, and that really sucks. And unfortunately, the reason why I'm mentioning this in my video is he needs help. And looks like people are starting to beat my donation, which is good. That was going to be the next part I talk about. I don't do sponsors on this page. You guys know that. I do these videos for fun and because I hope I entertain you. Because by entertaining you, it allows me to continue to do this stuff because motorcycles are one of the cheaper mediums of vehicle YouTube. I don't ask for money from you guys pretty much at all on this page, besides just your loyalty of watching my videos. But this is different because I would really like it if you guys would check out Kyle's GoFundMe, help him in the way that he supported me. You know, if it means anything, I donated $500, which is more than what I'm going to be, well more than what I'm going to be making from this YouTube video. Just being straight up with you, from ad revenue, because I have 0 sponsors, that is well more than what I would likely make from this video. So if you guys could go there and donate or engage with it in some way, that would mean the world to me. Medical things in the motorcycle world, it's the reality of what we do, but it is still a liability and a risk, and we got to be there for each other. I'll leave the link to that in the description down below. Don't feel pressured to check it out, but if you you know. My friend Derek recently got in a accident as well. He's been in some more recent videos. He's kind of a friend who I've made more so this year than previously. And again, it's also another Ducati V4. This one, someone pulled out in front of him. As you guys can see, this car is, from the damage on the front of the car, is the car's fault, obviously. And it was a hit and run. The person who hit him fled outside of the car and left their car for whatever reason. They're an idiot because they got the plate number and they got the person. So, but that is currently his bike. Now, Derek's okay. Derek, unfortunately, I almost said unfortunately, what? Derek works for a Cleveland clinic, I believe, and he had top-notch medical care and was completely fine. He had a concussion and a blood clot, but nothing super life-threatening or serious. And he'll make a full recovery relatively soon. I'm pretty sure he's already discharged, but most likely has insurance on that bike too, so which is why he doesn't have a GoFundMe, but... Yeah, boys, motorcycle accidents are starting to get on the rise, and I just wanted to take a little moment here as I kind of reflected and sit here. I wish I could be on the bike right now, but I just want you guys to be safe this motorcycle season. It's little reminders like this going into the season. You know, I'm glad no one's gotten seriously, gravely, permanently hurt yet. This is all things that people can recover from. It's going to cost them a lot of money, but again, these are all things that people can recover from. Please, guys, I don't want a repeat of last year. To my friends watching this, to my loved ones, to every single one of you guys watching this video, please go back and look what happened last year. There are all these little accidents that led up to things, they're bad things that happened last year. And it all came to head last June, and I have not forgotten about that. I will never forget that feeling, that emotion. Losing somebody is unlike, like literally having someone ripped away from you on this planet is a feeling I will never, ever forget. And I'm reminded of it every single time I swing a leg over a bike. I think of Sean every single time I hop on this bike, any of my bikes. And listen, I carry that with me every day, and it reminds me to slow down in traffic. And I'm glad I have that video, thank God, because it is a reminder to not only myself, but everybody else. I don't want that to happen to any of you. I don't want you guys to experience what it's like to lose a friend, to lose yourself, to have something happen to yourself. And it's all just through a little bit of mental awareness. Think before you twist the throttle. Is this the time or the place? Am I just showing off for somebody? Is it worth risking my life for a little bit of showing off in front of somebody? It's not. I've gotten a lot of people talking to me this year saying how it's cool that I'm showing motorcycles in this way of, like, I make it seem safer than it is, which is not really true. Motorcycles are safe if you treat them that way. They are what you make it to be. And to be honest with you, I would just much rather be the guy who just does these fun little projects with these things, rather than be like the Jixabros of the world who you're flying through traffic. It's just not fun to me. Love Jixabro. Love him. I swear to God, I think he'd be more popular if he didn't. I think he would have more of a broad appeal anyway. Let's take this thing around the parking lot real quick. I just want to see how this is private property, by the way. I'm allowed to ride this thing. It feels a little bit smoother. The last time I had this bike out was California. This feels so stupid. I feel like a kid. I'm like wheeling I'm just like learning to ride. Let me do my figure eights. Let me do my figure eight. I'm gonna lay this thing down, bro. Watch. Do my little figure eights. Just slip and fall in some paint, dude. Oh, they got cameras here. I'm being watched. They're probably, what is this idiot doing? It feels so much smoother than what I remember. I do think that catalytic converter made a difference on this bike, because it was tuned to run without one. There's like less stutter, there's less sputter. It's like when you let off the throttle, it's not like it's just like nice and smooth, nice and chill. I'm an environmental science guy. I graduated with environmental science. Like, I am truly heart of hearts environmental science guy. But catalytic converters on motorcycles just feels like it's like putting a hat on a hat. These things are already such small little motors. Like, these are not the things contributing to the global warming, dude. Or climate change is the correct term. Global warming is such a outdated term, but anyway. These things are not the things that are hurting you know what I mean? Let us enjoy our time on this planet. Alright, well, I probably gotta get this thing loaded up on my truck, and I'll end the video when I get home. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.